Asta's screams echoed through the dense, suffocating air. No one came, no one ever would. He was alone in the darkness, far removed from the sunlit world where he once trained with that unbearable grin. His arms, muscular and scarred, now dangled uselessly at his sides, crimson liquid dripping from where his skin had been flayed. His grimoire, usually pulsating with demonic energy, lay silent on the ground, pages torn, blackened, screaming. He didn't know how long he'd been in this place. Days? Weeks? Time lost meaning after his first night of horror. The Clover Kingdom was gone. The magic nights were nothing but withered corpses rotting in a sea of endless blood. No more no more friends. All were swallowed by the darkness he could not escape. Asta's breath caught as he felt it again. The presence. From the shadows of his mind emerged the faintest whisper. But it wasn't just in his ears. It was gnawing at his sanity, burrowing into the deepest recesses of his soul. Asta, I'm here. I never left. The voice. The cursed voice of it. The devil that had long festered inside his grimoire. But something had changed. It wasn't just inside the grimoire now. It wasn't just in his mind. No, it had crawled into the very flesh of his being, twisting sinew and muscle, clawing through his bones like acid seeping into the marrow. Asta's body convulsed, his skin ripping apart at the seams, revealing blackened tendrils of rot where his veins should have been. His left arm suddenly bent in an unnatural angle, the bone jutted out with a sickening crunch. He tried to scream, but the sound that came out was not human, something guttural, animalistic, something from the pits of hell itself. His grimoire floated up, pages flapping as if alive, but they weren't merely paper anymore. They were flesh, pulsating, wet, slick with blood. The letters scrawled upon the pages were not magic spells, but words of madness, written in the bile of damned souls. His own blood had been used as ink. "Read it," the devil hissed. "Read what I've written for you." Asta, hands trembling, reached for the vile book. His fingers brushed against the grotesque pages, and instantly his mind was flooded with visions. His eyes rolled back, pupils dilating into endless pits of blackness. He could see everyone, every last person who had ever crossed him, suffering. Noel, Yami, even Yuno, all dismembered, their limbs scattered like broken dolls in an abattoir, their heads mounted on spikes that lined the crumbling halls of the Black Bull's base. "You wanted power," the devil continued, its voice a twisted lullaby. "And now, you have it." Asta's heart pounded violently in his chest, his body struggling to keep up with the poison surging through his bloodstream. The cursed grimoire continued to whisper to him, feeding on his terror, warping his desires into something twisted. He didn't want to be the Wizard King anymore. No, that dream was for the naive fool who once believed in hope. He now craved something else, something darker. He wanted to destroy. He wanted blood and chaos and madness, and he would have it. The pages of the grimoire flipped faster and faster until they landed on a final spell written in a language not of this world, not of any world known to the living. It was an incantation to call upon the end of light, the extinction of all magic, of all life. "Say the words," the devil demanded. Asta's lips, torn and bleeding, moved on their own. His voice came out in a horrible chant, the language scraping against his throat like shards of broken glass. His eyes turned red, blood vessels popping, as his body began to decompose, yet he lived. The rot spread, fingers fell off, yet he continued, chanting louder, faster. The sky above him tore open, bleeding black mist. The world itself began to scream, as if the very fabric of reality was unraveling. The stars went out, one by one, swallowed by the abyss. The last thing Asta saw before the darkness consumed him was his reflection in a pool of blood. His face was not his own. It was a devil's face, grinning with jagged teeth, eyes as empty as the void that now awaited them all. And then, silence. The Clover Kingdom was no more. The end? No, it's never the end. It's only the beginning.